Blog
Aloha,
Talk
everybody.
Radio.
Oh, started a little early today. Aloha, everybody. This is Jennifer O. And I'm doing a show on what to do when you are surrounded by negative people. Before I get the show, excuse me if I sniffle or cough. I'm sort of getting over a cold. And a couple different things. My switchboard is full with callers, and because of the way that Blog Talk is restructured, my show's only going to be a half hour today. So I'm going to try to do readings when I take calls, primarily based on the subject matter today, which is questions about what to do when you're surrounded by negative people. So that's one thing I'm going to try to steer away from the general readings for today. And also, there's a few callers that we've had the last couple of shows that have called in several times, and if you've called in the last couple of shows, please just, keep your question for today and allow some other callers to get through that haven't been able to get through. That would be very wonderful. And if you call in and I recognize that you've been calling a few times, I may just go over you to the next person. So just be aware of that, because I want to I would love to read everybody, but because the show is such a small time frame, I would want to try to make sure that I get to some everybody's questions and to some new people. So we have a question that this has come up several different times. As everybody knows, I do a lot about universal laws and positive thinking and that sort of thing and how it really creates your life. And many people run into the same thing all the time, what to do when you're surrounded by negative people. And this has actually come up several times off one of my Blog Talk articles. If you haven't read my Blog Talk, it's Jennifer O. blogspot.com, and you can go check that out. Also, I have a website, jenniferopsychic.com, for those of you who don't know, and a Facebook page. And on my Facebook page, if you add me on Facebook, it tells all the events and all the different things that I'm doing. So it's on there. My Blog Talk or Blogspot thing is on there. So anyhow, I had done an article that had sparked some questions from several people, and it was about basically there being two groups of people, as I see it out there. What people need to understand is there are basically two different levels of thinking mostly. I mean, there's gray areas on both sides, but one of them is the strong negative group, or, doomsday, things are never going to get better, and the economy is constantly bad, and when's things going to recover, and I don't have enough money, and what's happening with the government and all these different things. There's not enough jobs in my town. And then you have another group of people who I like to call the life is good type people. And basically those people, they don't put so much weight in what's going on in the news. They don't put so much weight in what other people are saying. They just go with the flow and understand that there's definitely a larger picture to life and how the things happen, how the law of attraction works, how things universally flow, that they just trust that things are going to work out in their favor. So they tend to be in a more positive point in their life, and because many positive things continue to happen because they don't believe in just the physical laws. And one of the things that I wanted to point out as far as that goes is not everybody, but mostly everybody, a lot of people from birth, when you're, in the physical realm, when you're younger, you're trained by your parents, you're taught by your parents, you're taught by your teachers, you're taught by so many people that mentor you or raise you to believe how hard life is and how, rough things are, and money doesn't grow on trees, and don't make your teacher mad, and, you really are taught, you're trained into a negative thinking is what I truly believe, and I've watched this over and over again. So you're trained for so long and to believe in less and not abundance and how hard things are that you start viewing life as that way. You're not born thinking that. If you think to your children, you'll understand that they're always wondering why you can't do this or why you can't do that, and just thinking everything just comes to you very easily, and parents get very frustrated because they don't think that that's the truth when it really is the truth, but they've lost sight of that. So as you grow up, you tend to just start realizing, money's hard, jobs are hard to come by, all these different things. And when you do that, Things are hard. So many of the people that you are surrounded by are still in this train of thought. Their cousins, their brothers, sisters, mothers, aunts, uncles, their coworkers, they are friends, they're everybody. So I think that probably the negative thinking mindset outnumbers the positive thinking mindset around like 10 to 1. So most likely you are very surrounded by people who think that things are really just going to be a struggle and they're just sure that the other shoe is going to drop type of thinking. So what do you do when you're surrounded by these people? That's the main question. Well, there's a couple of different things you need to realize. One is you need to understand why it's affecting you in any way, shape, or form. One of the scenarios when you're, I noticed as, I have gone on my own spiritual journey and that sort of thing, there was a lag time in there where I was wondering, being swayed by negative people and that sort of thing. But one of the things that happens is they start to change your train of thought and start making you nervous. So when they change your train of thought because you have somebody very negative thinking, oh, the economy's really bad, money's really bad, everything, we're having such a hard time with this and that, then you get scared and it starts to affect your thinking. And then you start thinking, geez, maybe the economy is bad, and what are we going to do about this, and what are we going to do about money? So one of the things that you need to do is realize that it affects your thinking and don't let it affect your thinking, because it wouldn't matter how many negative people that you were surrounded by if it didn't affect your own thinking per se. So if you're in a room with 7 people thinking really, discussing how bad everything is, and you're the one person watching them going, that's really too bad that they're thinking that way, because I really don't believe that way. And wouldn't it be nice if they were thinking more along the lines of what I was thinking? They wouldn't feel so stressed out. They wouldn't feel so cranky. They wouldn't feel all these different emotions they're feeling. But I'm really glad I'm not in that mindset. So one of the things is to really notice how negative people affect your thinking. So if you can get it to where you realize that's their own set of thinking, that doesn't really affect you in any way, it's a lot less stressful. The second thing is stop trying to change their mind. People that are in that negative thinking mindset, you will talk till you're blue in the face. You cannot change their mind. So if you have, it's something that they have to sort of learn. And some people that are on the fence, you might be able to sway a little bit, but it's something that they really have to experience themselves. So don't try to you spend so much energy trying to change their mind if you do something like that. So just allow them to just bask in their own negativity and realize that you can't change them. That's another area that people get really frustrated at, is not just when it changes their own mindset, but also when they want these friends and family and people that they love, they want them to feel like they do and understand that there's a more positive direction in life and that things can be easier, and they want them to work with the universal laws, so they really want to help change their negative mindset. And I'll tell you, it's just like beating your head up against a brick wall. It's so frustrating. It takes so much energy, and it feels like there is no results. You're not getting anywhere with that. So be careful of whose mindset you're trying to change. If you're going to spend that much energy and just constantly get bad results, you're going to start getting very cranky about it. Another thing is people don't want their negative, mindset changed. A lot of times I notice there's negative people that you're surrounded by, and they like to do that. Somehow there is a sense of they like to complain. They get something out of that. They gather in groups and complain to each other. They don't want you to fix their problem. So if you can see those people as they're just basically negative people and accept them and love them for who they are and just understand that they will probably always be that way, it kind of will have a weight lifted off your shoulder. So in other words, if you view someone as a basically regular positive person and then they constantly have a negative opinion, it's going to be really frustrating because you're viewing them as a positive person. But if you realize that their mindset is mostly negative, but they have wonderful other qualities, they're a good provider, they're basically mostly a good friend, there's times that you guys enjoy each other laughing and that sort of thing, concentrate on those wonderful areas and do accept that they're just not a positive person. They're not in a positive mindset. And so once you accept that you cannot change them for who that they are, you cannot have really an effect. Don't get frustrated on the other. Also, when you can't have an effect on these negative people, don't get frustrated that you didn't do a good enough job explaining your perspective, or you didn't do a good enough job trying to take them out of their depression or their shell. Don't get frustrated, because that is more work than you can have cut out for. I mean, that is just too much work on your plate there. So don't get frustrated in that point. Now, if the negative person tends to be your spouse or significant other, which that does come up a lot, and a question has come up a lot to me, you have a few choices here. Number one, you need to realize that their negative outlook or view is not going to change your outlook or view as long as you don't let it. For instance, a lot of times people that mostly think negative, or sometimes people won't always think negative. Sometimes they'll just get on a roll for a while, and then they'll come out of it, and then they'll get on a roll for a while. If you just ignore their negativity and don't feed into that, as far as like if it's your spouse or something, and you know they're being cranky about something, usually you know what they're being cranky about, don't open up that can of worms. If you know it's something you cannot change, and you know it's something that they're just having a negative view on, just let them be unhappy until they come out of it. Just don't allow that into your little world. Also, if you have a negative spouse that's continuously negative, it may be something that you have to seriously address. It may be something where you have to evaluate your relationship and who this person is, and is it having such a toll on your relationship or on you as a person that it's not helping anybody involved. In other words, if you were to know that this person were to, you need to look back. Has this person been negative for 20 years? Have they been negative for 10 years? Is it something that's just recent that they're going through? You need to look back. If it's something that's consistent and this person has just been a negative person most of your married life, most of your dating life, and that sort of thing, that's time to reevaluate. More often than not, people are like, you know what? If you just accept them for being that type of mind thinking, that type of negative thinking, and you're fine with that, and you just allow them to be cranky, you can still go on and have a great relationship mostly, enjoying other times because they'll come out of it here or there. If you realize, you look back, they've been that way for many, many, many years, and they're probably going to be that way for many, many, many more, and you don't think you can put up with it for many more because it's affecting too much your life, then you really need to reevaluate your relationship and decide, is it worth going on? Because it's really not fair for anybody involved if you're dragging something on that you feel like is not going to, end up in a happy ending for you. The other thing, too, is if it's not a significant other or a spouse, or even if it is at some points in time, if it's just where they get in waves of negative thinking, which everybody can, but like maybe something happened at work or they're really unhappy with that job and that sort of thing, you can point out certain things to them, but basically give them space and give yourself space from them. What I try to do with friends or family that I know tend to be really negative thinkers, I tend to not engage in conversation with them a lot. You also change the subject. When they start getting on a subject that you know is going to bring out a negative outcome, change the subject. Usually people are very easily sidetracked into something else. And usually you will know something to change the subject to if you know these people well enough that they enjoy talking about. And once you switch the subject, it switches the whole entire energy. It switches the energy of the room. It switches the energy of their behavior. It makes you feel less stressed out. So either try to engage less with them if it's a family or coworkers, and try not to call them all the time, and knowing that they're going to, complain, try not to engage with them at family events or co-working events if you know that they're going to complain. And if you do encounter them and they start, just change the subject. So you kind of try to keep your space from them a little bit. If it's a spouse that you're just going through a hard time that's just tends to be recent and not more of a core of who that they are as just a human being, let them work through that. Give them some space to work through that, and don't get complete. If it's something that you guys are not agreeing on and that they're really negative, like maybe about finances or the economy or something like that, discuss the details and handle what you need to get handled. But if they stay in that negative mindset consistently for a couple months or whatever, let them work through it. If there's nothing that you can really do, Most often there's not. If it's just a negative mindset, let them work through it and don't take it personal. Allow them to work through some stuff, and then it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of where they're at that particular moment. And that's something that people really need to understand when people are in a negative mindset. It's not a reflection of you. It never is. It never was. It just happens to be with where they're at that particular time. So that's where I think that a lot of people sort of take it personal and don't know how to handle things, as far as talking to them and that sort of thing. So, oh, man, I have my switchboard up. There we go. I'm going to take a few callers. And, again, if it's something you've called in over the past few weeks, I'm going to probably skip over those callers and go to some new ones. And I'm trying to keep it sort of pertain to subject matter today. So we're going to try to take our first caller. It's taking a little bit of time here. Blog Talk has done some switching. So aloha, we have a Skype caller. Can you hear me?
Hello, is this me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Good. I'm doing wonderful. What can I help you with today?
Well, yes, I saw the heading of your show today, and I thought that kind of fits in with where I'm at the moment. I'm kind of working, and I was thinking while you're talking about negativity, I'm working in an environment which I tend to not want to be in most of the time, and luckily I can work from home. It's a bit of a negative environment, and I was always thinking the best way to get out of it is to find another job. But at the same time, just to make this very short, a lot of people say be grateful for what you have, because what you want to do is completely different. And then all these negative, kind of not motivating, but more negative comments come. And then in the end, I don't do anything. So I'm stuck. And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but
well, this is a really good call, actually, because I'm getting a couple of different things on this. One, the environment that you are in, or the people, there's a core group of people there that tends to be very negative or very downers type of people, And so the feeling is pretty heavy. And so, wonderful that you're not one of those people, and sad for those people who are there. And, I get feeling sorry for people like that, because I realize if they just discovered a little bit more about the universe and how things worked, things would be so much easier for them, Instead of getting frustrated and letting those people bring me down, I get more like, geez, I'm so happy that I know that things can be different, and it would be just really horrible to live in that mindset and not realize that you have control over your life, and that many things, wonderful things can happen, but as long as they keep being negative, they're going to recreate it. Now, that being said, I really feel like it's mixed with unsatisfying, feeling of unsatisfactory at your job. So I feel like you're surrounded by negative people, but your intuition, your heart center is trying to push you forward into another job or into another career type. So that's getting somewhat clouded between the two. And yes, we should all be grateful for what we have and that sort of thing, but life is about change. Life is about moving on. Life is about learning, growing, searching, finding other things. So when we become unsatisfied in a workplace or a job or a relationship or something of that nature, don't necessarily people get it confused with just being unhappy. Well, most of the time you're just unsatisfied and you're ready to move on. So when you start getting that feeling, it's really the universe pushing you in another direction. And when it starts wanting to push you in another direction, it's because it has some other really cool things around the corner, other jobs. Maybe you get another job and you meet with other people that are more like-minded with you. It tends to push you in a wonderful area. So there's not much you can do about your negative coworkers. I'm sure that you do appreciate your job, but I would start looking elsewhere, not quitting your job right now or anything, but watching for opportunity, because when you're unsatisfied in a situation such as that, opportunity is usually right around the corner. So if you start looking and start looking into other jobs, and just being aware that you may consider moving other jobs and you may get a just amazing, wonderful environment, you'll start seeing opportunity coming. Somebody may mention a job to you. You may see something in the paper, and don't question it. Just go with your heart center feeling, how that feels to you. But I feel like it's sort of time for you to move on in jobs. Just start looking around because something will pop up for you. Okay? Hello? Well, I think we may have lost her.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, yep. There you go.
No, I just wanted to say thank you, and I just wanted to say that the environment is so important, and people don't realize it gives you such a heavy heart. I think I'm very kind of emotional person, and people start your energy levels are down. Strength goes down.
It gives you a heavy heart, but at the same time, you know, they're sort of choosing that lines a lot of times. So what I'm saying is when I'm surrounded by a lot of negative people, they're very much choosing to be in that mindset. It's not like they are searching so badly for another mindset and they're just stuck being negative. That doesn't happen. Because when you're searching very badly to be out of that mindset, you will move on. Something will happen. You will find a book. You will find a friend. Your perspective will begin to change. Don't let them fool you. Negative people usually are very comfortable in their mindset. To me, it's just a bummer that they have to do things so hard. So, you know. But
okay,
I have some other callers. So good luck.
Sure. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Aloha. Okay, we have just 1 minute here. We have a area code 303.
Hello, hi Jennifer. It's Erin. Perfect program today. Thank you so much for it. My ex is not paying me money he owes me. He's making it difficult for me to move on. I was wondering if you see him making paying me the money he owes me in the next week or so, or will I have to get an attorney?
I feel like this is going to have to go to some type of mediation. I feel like he is, I don't know, he seems to be really, speaking of negative people, he really falls into that category, correct?
Yes. Mm.
Yeah, and he's really an angry person right now. So he is really, he actually, as sad as this is, he really is intending to make this difficult for you. So don't worry about it too much. Don't go into, oh, my gosh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, because then you just go right into what he wants you to do. All you really need to do, I feel like, with this is go, you know what, this is really too bad that this is happening, but I'm really going to protect myself. I'm going to find a good attorney. I don't feel like it's going to have to necessarily go to court, but I feel like you need to protect yourself and get some litigation going. I feel like it'll be resolved fairly quickly. It won't have to be a lengthy process. And just don't play into his I'm going to make your life completely miserable thing. Just go, well, these are the steps I got to take to do for this right now, and I know it's going to turn out good, because it feels like you have all your ducks in a row as far as legalities, so it feels like they'll be able to help you fairly quickly. And I don't know what position he's in, but it actually may be a thing where he maybe doesn't want it to come back in his position of work or something, you know what I mean, where he's going to want to end up resolving it as long as you take steps that he knows that, you know what, you're not going to bully me around. Let's just handle it the best way possible. Because I almost feel like he thinks that he can bully you a little bit and just, you know, push you around by, well, I'm not going to pay you here and then I'm not going to pay you there. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't play that,
I'm ill and I'm overdrafted, and I've taken on a large debt for school, and I actually don't have the money to drive to school today. So if he doesn't make his payment, my bank account will be closed.
Yeah,
I'll have to withdraw.
He's in a position to bully you on purpose, and you know, to feel like. Yes, and so don't play into that. What I'm saying is you may even be able to get some other things from him holding this from you by an attorney. And you may even be able to get the attorney paid for. So just find a good attorney, have them handle all this stuff for you. Don't even handle anything with him anymore. Get some advice. I feel like it'll be handled quickly. It may be a woman attorney that you deal with. I'm feeling like it might be a woman attorney, and they may even get you some other stuff from him messing around. okay?
Okay.
And just, you may want to get my book. I haven't mentioned that on this show today, but I know it's really helped a lot of people in these types of situations, and it talks about health and that sort of thing as well. And it's called Soul DNA, and you can get it on Amazon.com when you get your alimony payment or that sort of thing.
Okay, I will.
But it's like $12, and it's really, really helped a lot of people. There's also a website if you want to read more about it that'll send you right to buy it, but you can read a little bit about it before you purchase it, which is soul-dna.com. That's a really good website. And so check it out, and because it might help your perspective and your thinking. And like I said, it has things about health and all kinds of things. So good luck with that, Erin.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Aloha. Okay, we have a caller from 484.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the first time
Happy
I'm calling in. And
Day
the first
to
time
you.
I'm listening to your show. It's wonderful.
Oh, great. You should listen to more. I have tons. You'll love them.
Okay, great. My name is Tammy, and I'm calling up in regards to the gentleman. I would like to know if there's going to be any communication on his part. His name is Chris. Whether or not he's going to be calling me, showing up here, or anything for Valentine's Day in a positive way.
In a positive way?
Well, you know what I mean. Is he going to contact today?
Is this somebody that you're in a relationship with now, or you're hoping will come around?
Well, we have 2 years of history, but he kind of pulled away for a few months, and I have not heard from him.
Well, it feels like there's some back and forth stuff going on, but it just feels like there's sort of like that had ended to me a little bit ago or something, or there was an apartness. That's why that I had asked that, so that makes sense.
He hasn't communicated with me in 4 months, but I'm hoping today will be the day that he'll start up.
I'm not feeling him contact you today. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on Valentine's Day, but honestly, I'm not really loving the match that you two made together. I know that you tended to bring out, speaking of the show, you tended to bring out the negative side of each other a lot of times. You tend to push each other's buttons, And I'm not really sure. Like, it seemed like he didn't appreciate you so much, as in he sort of may have, tended to put you down a little bit more and being a little negative. He kind of actually goes into that. Not all the time, but it seems like, I just don't view it as completely healthy. So I'd like to see you just, it feels like he's sort of moved on, and even if he does come back around, I'd be a little bit cautious about his intent, okay? So, and I'd like to see you just kind of move in a better direction. There's other men out there. I do see you're not going to be alone. That I know that's a big worry, and I know that's probably your worry. There will be another relationship in your life. So just, enjoy your day and decide that, you really deserve better than that. And you deserve better than sitting around and waiting on Valentine's Day to see if he's going to contact you,
Right. Yeah, I just thought maybe he would.
Yeah, I know, but, in my outside looking in, of course I'm outside looking in, it's probably best that doesn't happen. And plus that means a lot, on Valentine's Day to some people. So anyhow, but I sort of got to wrap up the show here, so thanks for calling in. Okay. Everybody, wonderful. Check out my website if you haven't. It's jenniferopsychic.com. I have my blogspot thing. It's jenniferopsychic.blogspot.com. I have a Valentine's Day article on there. I have a lot of articles that's been fun. Check out my Facebook page. It's Jennifer O'Neill, and I have my Soul DNA page, my book. If you haven't gotten my book, that's something that you probably really want to check out. It's wonderful for anybody wanting to stay in a positive mindset, and that is Soul DNA. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble, and you can order it off my website, soul-dna.com. So everybody have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and sort of just insulate yourself from being affected by any of those negative people, and realize that you just have a ton of control over that. So have a wonderful day. Aloha.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. And now I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun, Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from, with new games released each week. You can play for free, and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.